Finance charges are amounts or fees charged to a client for past due amounts. Finance charges are normally a percentage of the past due amount. To calculate the finance charges on your outstanding AR, you just go to Tools and find Finance Charges, and that brings you here to the screen that I'm on. The finance charge screen is set up in two parts. The first, here in this upper section, is where we decide which clients we want to generate finance charges for. Most of this information is coming straight from the firm properties, so what you put in there when setting up that section will influence what you see here on this screen. So of course we have your office information here. We have the finance charge rate. I have mine at 2%. The threshold balance, which is the lowest AR balance that will incur a finance charge, I have mine at $300. And the minimum finance charge you will charge your clients. Then we can choose from these options if your finance charges are compounding and whether you will include tax in the amount you charge interest on. Here we can see what day the finance charges will be calculated on, so July 31st, and the last date finance charges were generated, so the last posting date, which is usually the last month if these are done routinely. So you would usually see June in here, but mine is set for the current month because someone in our office created a finance charge for a client earlier today. So the system is remembering that. You can always change or modify any of these fields. And if you do feel that you've made a mistake or you just wish to start over or just want to go back to the default amounts, click this button here to restore the defaults and it'll go back to how it was in the beginning. To replace finance charge after days automatically defaults to what you have in your finance charge after field in the firm properties for all your clients. But the from and to fields are a little bit different. These allow you to change this. For instance, in ABC Company's client properties, you have selected to charge a finance charge after 30 days. You always generate finance charges on that last day of the month, so that usually works for you. However, on February 28th, invoices from January 31st are not technically over 30 days. You would like to charge them finance charges because you feel that they are 1 month overdue and therefore should be charged finance charges, right? Instead of 30 days, for this month, you would like them to incur finance charges after 28 days. Rather than going into each client's properties and changing them manually, you would simply click where it says from and type in 30. So we type in 30 here, because we're going from, right? Because we're changing all clients who have 30 days entered in their clients' properties. This will change only clients with 30 days entered in their clients' properties, though. So if you have some other clients set for 0 or 60 or 90 days, it won't touch those. In the to field, we need to type 28. Because you're changing everyone from 30 days to 28 days, then you would click apply. If you did that and then went and looked in client properties, the finance charge after would be changed to 28 for all clients who had finance charge after set at 30 before. Now, once we're comfortable with everything up at the top of the screen, so all this stuff that we have up here, we need to generate these finance charges and see what comes up. So let's take a look at the Actions button up here and see what we have going for us. Before we can even use the print or delete selected, we need to generate. That's the first action that we need to do. So we're going to be generating finance charges for every client who fits this criteria, right? All right, so I've generated everything for the month of July. Now you can see if we scroll down the columns that we have available to us, we have the client ID, we can see the client name, the aged balance, the finance charge amounts. This is taking the 2% that I had up there and creating the finance charge amount. And then we have the exists column. The exists column shows whether or not a finance charge has already been charged for this month. You can see $0 for all these, so I'm good to go. But if there were amounts in here, I would not be able to charge a finance charge for them until next month. I could try and it still wouldn't work. It's not going to let me. So I would have to wait until next month to apply new finance charges for that month. We have all this information in front of us, and of course it can be sorted if we wanted to. We can sort it by client name by clicking up here. If we wanted to put those in alphabetical order, or by aged balances, we could do ascending, descending. We can sort these however we'd like. And for the remaining actions we have up top, if we go back up here to the top and choose print, if we print this list, it's for internal use only. So it's basically just a printed report of what you see on the screen. So all the finance charges to be charged. Or you can choose delete selected, which allows you to delete clients from this list. So perhaps there is a client that just sent a payment in that has not been applied to his account yet. We don't want to charge him a finance charge if he's already paid, so we would want to delete him from this list before we apply the charges. So all we do is click next to his name. So let's do Leslie Murray here. Let's imagine that Leslie Murray paid off the balance. Then we come up here and choose Delete Selected, and you'll see that Leslie Murray disappeared right from the top there. It's important to remember that any client you don't want to apply a finance charge to, who is showing on this list, needs to be deleted from the list before clicking Apply. Now, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see that we have the Apply button here. So all we need to do, let's imagine that we want to apply all these finance charges. We click here to select all. So we've selected them all, and we're going to go ahead and click Apply. If you decided right now that you just don't want to do this yet, you don't want to apply finance charges, if you want to cancel this, all you do is just click out of the screen. So if you click on any other icon and leave this screen, basically you're leaving it altogether. But note, if you do that, if you left this screen, any changes that you made, so when we deleted Leslie up here, any changes that you've made have not been saved. So if you were in the middle of doing this and got interrupted, so you left TPS or clicked out of the screen before clicking Apply, then when you come back later and decide to finish it, you're going to need to make sure all the fields up top are how you want them, then generate this list again and remove the ones you didn't want, like when I removed Leslie Murray, because removing them from the list isn't actually deleting them, it's just removing them for the time being so you don't apply finance charges to them. When you click Generate, they show up all over again. So you need to make all the changes you made the first time if you get interrupted and have to come back and do this again later. But let's go ahead now and click Apply because I do want to apply these finance charges. You can see that the data was saved successfully. Now if I were to come up here and choose Generate again, they'll come up again. As I was telling you, there's Leslie Murray here, but you can see that it does not exist for her because I did not apply one to her, right? I took her off the list. But the rest of these now have something under Exist. So if somebody else in the office comes in, or if I forgot that I already applied finance charges this month and I came in and tried to do it again, the system won't let me. I would need to wait until the next month to do it. And that's basically how you generate finance charges.